Hi there. I'm Sylvia DiPietro, and welcome to this episode of Live Your Life by the Numbers. Today, we're going to be discussing the life path numbers. I'm going to teach you how to compute the life path numbers. And like the numbers that came before the four, that being the one, the two, or the three, the life path number has a specific gift and a quality to offer those people that were born with this life path number. So let's get into a deep dive right now and let's talk about the four life path number. The four life path number has a very, very special vibration in numerology. And it's a very powerful number. And why do I say that the four is a very powerful number? Because number one, it carries four corners to it, like a square or a rectangle. And it is the foundation under which we build very successful projects and a life. So the four has a strong, powerful vibration to it. It's got some other vibrations also. It could be very stubborn. I have a very heavy four. I realize that. But it is my first achievement number, which is found by adding my month and day of year together, which is a 12 and a 28, which comes to a 40/4, because 4 plus 0 is 4. So today we're going to talk about the fours and all their positive qualities and some of their negative qualities. And we're going to discuss some very special people that have fours, basically as either a 404 or as a master number 4. So let's get into it now. Years ago, Pythagoras, who taught us the study of numbers, he said that everything in life vibrates. All of life, the entire universe, vibrates. And in numerology, we give descriptions to the numbers 1 through 9, which are the numbers we use in numerology. Number 1 being the starting number, number 9 being the number of completion, endings, brotherly love. And I'm going to get to that life path number a few shows from now. We also speak about in numerology the master numbers, which are higher vibrations of some of the lower numbers. So the 11 master number, which is 1-1, is a higher vibration of the number 2, because 1 plus 1 equals 2. And the 22 vibration is a higher number, a master number of the number 4, because 2 plus 2 equals 4. The number 33 master number is a higher vibration of the 6, because 3 plus 3 equals 6. And the 44, which is sometimes considered a master number by some numerologists, sometimes not, but it's made of 2 4s. That is the higher vibration of the number 8. Now, master numbers are really, as I mentioned, higher vibrations of lower numbers, but they're these lower numbers on steroids. So they're vibrating to much stronger vibrations. And when they can't vibrate to those vibrations because it's too much, the body automatically channels the vibration down to a lower number. So if you can't handle the 11, or you're a child and you're an 11 life path number, and as children, it's very difficult to handle that number might automatically reduce itself down to a 2 life number until the child grows into that vibration. And the same it would be with a number 4. If a child's a 22 vibration and can't handle it, it might reduce it to a 4. Sometimes they don't, though. Sometimes you can see these vibrations just like this. You can see those master numbers showing up when a child is very young very easily. We also talk about that the numbers 1 through 9 cover the 26 letters in the alphabet, and they are A through Z, and each letter in our alphabet carries a specific vibration. So you can see here that the 1 vibration, and the ones like to say, the 1 life paths like to say, I'm number 1, I'm the king of the hill. I rock. You can hear, you can hear a boxer or anybody who really knows that they show up and they're number 1, Muhammad Ali. I'm number 1. And he had that gift of the 3 that he could speak very rapidly and rhyme things. He's probably one of our original rappers. But anyway, getting to the 1 life path and those that say I'm number 1, we have letters that match that vibration, not in a life path, but in the letters of people's names. And they begin projects, the A, J, and the S. And then we have 2 vibrations in our letters, which are B, K, and T. We have 3 vibrations, and the letters that match that are the C, the L, and the U. By the way, the K carries an 11 vibration because it's the 11th letter in the alphabet. The 4 vibration in our alphabet is carried by the letters D, M, and V. And the letter M is a karmic letter. It's the 13th letter in the alphabet. So you'll be hearing a lot about that letter, or the karmic number 13, on another show. And the V is a master number because it's the 22nd letter in the alphabet. We have no 33 and no 44 in our alphabet, but if we did, we'd have a letter attached to that. The letters that carry the 5 vibration are the E, N, and the W. The letters that carry the 6 are the F, the 0, and the F, the O, and the X, as in Fox. The letters that carry the 7 vibration are the G, the P, and the Y. The 8 vibration are carried by the letters H, Q, and Z. And the 9 vibrations, the humanitarian numbers, vibrations are the R and the Z. So today we're going through the 4 life path number, and that's a very important foundational number because you can't get anywhere in life that is solid and successful for a long period of time without putting a solid foundation underneath your project. So it's a workaholic number. A lot of people say, well, I don't like to work. Well, I want to tell you that people that have a 4 life path number or a 4 heavily placed anywhere within their numbers, their month, day, and year of birth, or their soul urge, which are their vowels when we add them up, or their consonants, which are their consonants. If the 4 shows up there, they're made to work. I have it in my name, Sylvia DiPietro. When we add my expression, when we add all the letters in my name, Sylvia DiPietro, and we add those vibrations up, the total vibration comes to a 76, and we add 7 plus 6, it's a 13. And as most of you know, numerology has been my avocation for over 50 years, but my vocation is I'm a trust and estate litigator. So someone like me is always creating something, always building a foundation underneath something. And that is the idea behind these shows. It is to show people and teach people how They can learn all about their own numbers. They can live their lives by the numbers and live more successful lives because they're learning about themselves. And this study of numerology is very, very simple. There's nothing hard about it. You're not adding up angles, and it's as easy as adding 2 plus 2. I can teach a second grader. I can't teach them the intuitive qualities that I can teach a person more on the adult level. But as an adult, I can teach you the magnificent qualities in your children. And I have 4 books out there that I hope you go and you pick up. 2 are Live Your Life by the Numbers, Volume 1 and Volume 2. The 3rd is Raise Your Kids by the Numbers, which is one of my favorite books. It's all about that initial vibration in children. So for all you parents out there that are banging your heads against the wall and tearing your hair out and worrying yourself sick, don't worry so much. Pick up my book and review it. Buy it for yourself or for a friend. And Raise Your Kids by the Numbers. Remember that there is no day more precious than this day. And if you realize all the gifts and the talents you have, you won't be dumping on yourself so easily. So let's take a look at some make-believe birthday, and then we'll take a look at people that have real birthdays and we'll study them. So say your birthday was 8/28/1957. Your numbers to add would look like this. Just like you learned in second grade or third grade, I'm not sure. You would add 8 plus 28 plus 1957. You'd come down to 1993 as a total. You would add 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 3. And you would see, aha, I've arrived at the master number 22. Then you'd add 2 plus 2, and you'd come to the number 4. Now, the reason why I have that up that way is to show you that there are hidden master numbers within numbers. For example, this person that's born on August 28th, 1957, has a life path number. Its path of life is a 22 master number, which means it must build on a very broad level. These people that build on a broad level are in all aspects of life. Movie stars, producers, skyscraper builders, city planners, politicians, they are all over. But hidden in this number, if we add just 1957, we're going to get another master number. So this person born on August 28th, 1957, has a life path number of a 22, 4, but also has another master number. Let's take a look at this. We can add the numbers sideways as well. 8 plus 2 plus 8, which is 10, down there in the center. And then 1957, which is a 22. If we reduce these 3 to a single number or a double digit number, we get 8 plus 10 plus 22 equals 40. And in another show, and in every show, I will tell you when there's a 0 at the end of the number, it's the spiritually blessed aspect of the number. And this person has a 22 life path number, but another way that we compute it, it has a 40/4 number. So it's a 4 life path number this way that is cosmically blessed because the number that creates the 4 comes from 4 plus 0. And 0 on the back of any life path number or birthday number is cosmically blessed. So the 10 has a 0 in the back of it, 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 and 70 and 80. Okay, these are cosmically blessed numbers, and 90 would be also. So now we can see that we have a master number in that birthday number hidden inside the individual's birthday number, which also reduces to a 4. And what is it great about the 4 is that we are putting 4 corners, a foundation under no matter what we build. So we get nowhere with lasting success unless there's a foundation placed under any project that we endeavor to create. Okay. So why is it so important to know your life path number? Because your life path number is the number that you yourself chose to live by in this life in order to attain and to grow and be the most successful in this life. It's your highway to success. So some people, their highway to success is to go down highway number 1. Some people, it's highway number 2. Some, it's highway number 3. In today's episode, it's highway number 4 to be the most successful. And believe it or not, as I mentioned to you, you chose this life path before you were born. Just as on a spiritual level in numerology, you chose your parents. You chose the upbringing you would have. Now, that's whether you like it or you don't like it, because our upbringing, learning from specific parents, even though we have complaints about them, these are learning lessons for us. And very often, a very severe childhood allows us, after we have forgiven and we've grown in wisdom, to have more compassion for other people. So each one of these numbers that I'm teaching you has a path. The 4 life path in particular, that being the foundation, also means the foundation of the home. And somewhere within the foundation, because it's your first foundation, there's a problem. Now, what the problem is, I can't tell you, but anybody who has a 4 life path knows where there was a problem in the home. It could have been drinking, it could be gambling, it could be violence, it could be, anything in particular, okay? But it's going to be very present in your life. My mother had a 22 life path number, and that reduces to a 4. And she was raised without a mother. Her mother died when she was very, very young. My father had a 22 birthday and a 5 life path number. He never saw his parents at all. He was raised in an orphanage. So I was raised by 2 parents that between them had 1 parent. And what was the emphasis in my family? It was to have great compassion for people, to understand, what it's like to grow up without a parent. And I'm sure in some way, one of my books, Raise Your Kids by the Numbers, is the origin of that fact that parenting is very, very important in life. So let's move on and let's see what the number 4 life path number says. It says, I organize. And the number 4 life path number is a genius in organization. It's really great. And they love to work. I'm working. They almost say, don't bother me, I'm working. They are always working. They are always doing something, making something better, improving upon things. Just fantastic. Again, as I mention all the time, they always put a solid foundation under anything they're doing. They're also economical, and no project is successful without that foundation. So number 1 says, I'm the rock, I'm number 1. Number 2 says, I'm the peacemaker, I'm kind. Number 3 says, where's the party? I'm the joy giver. Number 4 says, I build. I am all about foundation. Number fours are often all about business, whether it's a male or a female, and 9 times out of 10, you will see their nose to the grindstone, whether it's gardening, whether it's fixing the cement. They're great fixer-uppers also in their own homes, by the way, and in their own buildings. They're extremely, extremely economical. They like things done right. They love organization. So, I mean, that's a really, frankly, a great way to be. So you may say to yourself, well, gee, I really hate to work. You may hate to work, but if your life path is a number 4, I can guarantee you will begin to work at a very young age, whether it's raking the leaves outside or washing the windows with your parents or learning to garden or helping around the house. You'll love to get that salary at the end of the week for doing your chores around the house. And saving is a very big thing with the number 4s. If they're a solid number 4, saving money is very, very important. The number 4s come into our lives to bring order into our life. And there is no order and no success without the number 4. Nothing happens in life that is successful without a strong number 4 underneath it. So you may find people that have a number 4 in their life path number. You may find the 4 in the birthday number. There may be a 4, they may be a karmic 13, they may be a 22, they maybe have a 31 birthday. All 4 different numbers of the number 4. They all carry the basics that I'm telling you now, and then their own special vibrations. For example, the number 13 is karmic. It means that didn't like to work or fluffed off the responsibility to work and to achieve on a high level onto other people when they could have been successful in their own life, in a former life. So they come into this life with a very heavy work ethic. All 4 of the 4 vibrations carry some kind of hidden challenge or problem that existed somewhere in the family. The 4 can also come in the achievement number. Now, the achievement number is what you must achieve. It's easier than adding your month, day, and year together and reducing it to a single digit. Your achievement number is found by adding just your month and day of birth. So if we add my month and day of birth, which is 12 plus 28, my number, my achievement number, what I must do in this life is a 40/4. And that is to build a foundation underneath all my projects. I'm building a foundation helping you right here with this show. And as I say, I'm a trust and estate litigator by vocation, and my avocation has always been the study of numbers now for over 50 years. So I hope you like this show and that you appreciate that I'm doing this for you. I am not doing readings, by the way. So if anybody tells you that Sylvia has given you a reading, it is not true. So please don't fall for any kind of fraud or gimmick that is out there on the web. The pinnacles of attainment, I'll be teaching you in another show, as well as your challenges. And I'll also be teaching you, that certain letters in your name in the alphabet vibrate to the number 4. And those letters are A, B, C, D, M, which is the 13th letter in the alphabet, and V, the letter V, which is highly spiritual. It is the 22nd letter in the alphabet. So let's look at the gifts of the number 4. Number 4 is the builder. It is the organizer. So let's look at this. Let's say we're putting on a show and we're in 5th grade. the number 1 life path number would say, okay, I'm the producer. I'm the producer. I'm going to produce this show. The director would be the number 2. I'm going to be the peacemaker in this show, and I'm going to write the script of the show, because 2 is dexterous. They're great writers. The number 3 is going to say, I'm the star in the show. I'm going to give everyone joy in the show. And the 4 in the show says, I'm going to help the director with the plot, and I'm going to build the stage for this show. He builds or she builds, they organize on broad levels. And so now let's take an even deeper dive into the 4. The 4 is an extroverted number. It's not an introverted number. It works out there with people. And in a way, it's statistical. I'm pretty sure a lot of accountants have 2s and 4s in their numbers heavily placed. As I say, it's an even number. It is not an odd. The odd numbers are 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. The even numbers are 2, 4, 6, and 8. And the 4, because it likes to work and it's organized, usually has prominently placed in its natal astrological chart the Taurus or the Capricorn. And just when it comes to that, I have 4 planets in Capricorn. I am a Capricorn, and my midheaven is a Taurus. So I have all the attributes of a Taurus and a Capricorn. With 4 planets in Capricorn, you can imagine, it's no shock that I'm a litigator and I'm an attorney, okay? Now, the 4 has a wealth of gifts that make them invaluable, and let's look at some of them. Deep concentration. The 4 can hold its concentration for a very long time in order to get its projects off the ground. It has the ability to create form from no form at all, because in its mind, the 4 sees the structure of what it's got to create, and it keeps going back until it gets the proper form. It's very practical. It's very economical in nature. It's if it can do something for less money, or it can buy something for less money and it knows where to get it, it will do it. It has a very determined attitude. To a 4, there's almost nothing that it can't do, and it will work to set its foundation under everything it does until it accomplishes that which it's supposed to accomplish. The 4 is very dependable and very, very reliable as a number. If you go to a number 4, you're always going to get an answer. Usually a 4 life path won't let you down. It has the quality of patience, which is a wonderful quality to have. It can wait for the end to show up on its projects. It can work very, very steady, which is wonderful. It makes dreams come true because of its ability to follow through. You know, I mentioned with the number 1 life path that the number 1 likes to complete things, but it hates to finish things, just cannot stand finishing things. And that's why it needs the number 2 to come up behind the number 1 so that the 1 can hand off to the number 2 that has tact and diplomacy and persuasiveness and can go out among groups of people to get things done. The 2 hands off to the 3, that very creative, the creative geniuses. And the 3s, because the 3s don't like to do hard work, the 3s hand off to the number 4. So you're going to see that sometimes in someone's birthday number, they have a 3 and their life path is a number 4. So then they have the gifts of the 3 and the 4. The 4 believes in honesty and truth. It doesn't like lying. It's courageous. Its concentration is above and beyond. It has the ability to assess accurately and appraise a situation. You may not like the way it appraises it. Sometimes it gets right down to the bottom. That's probably many of our doctors and our psychiatrists and mental health probably have number 4s and number 9s in their life because they have to be humanistic and kind to people. It happens to be part of their personality. The number 4, as I mentioned, has the gift of thrift, an economy. The number 4 can make anything better. You give a number 4 an old, beat up table, and it will give you back a polished mahogany masterpiece. So, number 4, unlike a lot of the other numbers, does learn from its mistakes and hard knocks. At least it tries to. Now, often it's not as creative as the other numbers. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But they're very dependable, and you can count on the number 4 to get things through. They have the ability to explain to you. You know, when you speak to somebody and they're just very, very smart, but you feel as if when they're imparting their knowledge to you that they're talking way above your head. Oh, yeah, there it goes. I haven't got a clue. And you sit there nodding, and then you turn your head and you say, I haven't got a clue what that person just said. That is not the number 4. The number 4 can usually bottom line something in an acceptable way that you can understand. So it has the gift of gab, but it also has the gift of simplicity. It can arrange anything for you and construct anything for you and build anything for you and maintain a steady force until it arrives at a tangible object. So the number 4s have a wonderful gift because they make it real. Often because it sets the foundation under something. We say that the number 4 is the salt of the earth. It's straightforward, it's dependable. And as I mentioned before, there's usually some problem in the family. Some of them, most of them, don't like to speak about it. But if you get a couple of 4s together, they'll have no problem feeling comfortable with one another and discussing the family issue. Sometimes it could be illness. Sometimes it could be a problem with a child. Sometimes it could be health. Sometimes it could be, as I told you in the beginning of this show, that my mother was raised without a mother and my father was raised in an orphanage and had no parents at all. So the aspect of family and home and the value of having a mother and not having to borrow other people's mothers and to have parents. My father was a 22 birthday and he worked morning, noon, and night. And I remember that when I was a young child, my mother used to dress her kids up before my father came home, and we'd all go out to greet my father because he left before we went to school, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And we didn't see him until he came home. So the family life was very important. My mother would try to explain to us why my father had a very bad temper, which certainly was not something we cared too much for when we were kids. But, you know, as you grow older, you learn to forgive your parents and realize that they really were all here, a work in progress, trying the best we have. But very frequently, the 22s have very bad tempers. So you got to be careful to keep your blood pressure down. It could be arguments in the family. It could be violence in the family. It could be divorce. Some of the aspects that aren't so wonderful about the fours is they tend to be extremely serious. So I'll give you as myself for an example. I think as I've gotten older as a Capricorn, they say Capricorns really represent Cronus and the element of time. And I am somebody that is very, very aware that the clocks of our lives are ticking away. And when I was young, I was very serious. Teachers would tell my mother, why is she so serious? She never smiled. Yet when I was home, I was a giggling little Gertie. But when I was a kid in school, I was determined to be number one in my class. I was also stubborn. The four is stubborn. That square is stubborn. Argumentative, very. My parents used to say, Sylvia, please go out and make a living with the way you argued. And I took them up on it. And I went to law school. So now you know why I'm a litigator. It's because words are my weapon in the courtroom. The fours have fixed opinions. Sometimes they're not appreciated, and sometimes we have to keep them to ourselves. And when we're young, we can be very contrary. So let's look at some famous number fours and have some fun with this. Brad Pitt, William Bradley Pitt was his name at birth. And let's take a look at his birthday. His birthday is 12/18/1963. So if we add his achievement number, which I say he must achieve in this life, mine was a 40 to put a foundation under everything. Brad Pitt's was 12 plus 18 is a 30. Brad Pitt's achievement number, and we know he's been quite successful, is to be a genius in creativity. And we know he is extremely creative, and he's also a foundation guy. When we add his life path number of 12/28/1963, we come to 1993. And when we add 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 3, we get his life path number, which is a 22/4 master number. So here we see that Brad Pitt has the gift of creativity and joy. We certainly know the parts he's played in have been humorous, serious. He's got a wealth of creativity and a very high box office draw, as well as a financial draw. And he also has that 22/4. And I have seen films where Brad Pitt, I believe, was a producer. I'm not sure. He's either a producer or a director. So there's Brad Pitt, building on a broad level. And he also supports some very, very large projects for the benefit of humanity. And if you look at 1963, you will see it's a karmic number, 19. So Brad Pitt, as he gets older and he moves into that last number of his year of birth, he's going to start a whole new form of living and get rid of the old. And as I say, he's got a master number and his life path number of a 4, and he creates on a very broad and a universal level. I would gather that maybe when he was very, very young, he might have been a very active little kid, reminds me of the kid that probably built his own sandbox or was acting in plays at a very, very young age. But certainly we know that he has accomplished, even now at this age, very, very successfully on a broad scale. Another individual that has been very successful on a broad scale is the Democratic Majority Whip of the party, the Democratic Party, Charles Schumer from New York, who was born on November 23rd, 1950. We add his life path number together. 11 plus 23 plus 1950 comes to a total of 1984. And if we add 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 4, we arrive at a 22-4 master number, also another master number. We'll notice that he has another master number. He's born under the 11, which would mean that his mother, you know, the 11s, like the 2s, is the number of femininity. And I would say that he was raised by a very, very attentive number. Now, I don't know if any of you will remember one of my early shows. I added up Putin's numbers. And when I added Putin's number, his birthday number, I believe, was October 7th, 1962. And on one level, I added his numbers and it came to a 25-7 life path. When I added his numbers across and showed you another way, which also came to a 7, the 7 was attained by a 3 plus 4, a 34-7. So here I want you to see that 11 plus 23 is 34. And the 34s, wherever you see a 34, in this situation, Schumer arrives at a 34 in his achievement number, what he must achieve early in life, and he achieves it. The 34 is a very dependable, determined number of analysis and accomplishment. Sometimes we find it early in life, and I believe Chuck Schumer was involved in politics early in life. Sometimes we see it later in life, that it really grows in life. But I wanted to show you that number because Chuck Schumer has the number, and also Vladimir Putin has the number. Opposite ends of the coin, but both with 34s. Chuck Schumer's life path number, unlike Putin's life path number is a 7. Chuck Schumer's life path number is a 22-4. And we all know that he's been active on the political level, writing our laws and defending our constitutional rights for many, many years. Well, lo and behold, we have another 4 here, Donald John Trump. So let's take a look at Donald Trump's numbers. Born June 14th, 1946. If we add his numbers together, we come to 1966. Donald Trump is another 22-4. And what is his achievement number, what he must achieve in this life, even before he sets upon the 22-4 highway to success? We add the 6 plus the 14, which is a 20, which is a higher vibration of the number 2. He must try in some way to be the peacemaker, to try to get along with people, to try to have tact and diplomacy. And I will leave that up to you to see whether he does have that. Let's look at another way of adding Donald Trump's numbers. We can add the 6 plus the 14, which is his birthday. So Donald Trump's coming up with a birthday soon. And we can take 1946 and add it together, and that's going to be a 20. So 6 plus 14 plus 20 equals a 40. Now, I told you that the 40s also often are builders. Donald Trump comes from the building profession. His father, Freddie Trump, was a very well-known builder in Queens County, New York, and Donald followed in his father's footsteps. Was there a problem in the family? Well, there were a few. I think one happened to be drinking, that his brother had a problem with drinking. So here you see three individuals, Brad Pitt, Chuck Schumer, President Trump, all carrying a 4 vibration. Now they're carrying a master number, but that master number, when you can't carry it, it automatically comes down. When a master number is on steroids and you can't handle that large, that vacillating vibration, it reduces to the 4 and the foundation. So let's get back to the 4. Let's see some of their good qualities. As I mentioned, it's an even number. 4s are extroverts. They're also ruled by the sun, or as I mentioned, Taurus and Capricorn. These are earth numbers, earthy. So that's no shock to me that Donald Trump is in the building profession. Their key words: order, work, discipline, limitations. They're very practical. We all know that Donald Trump always said, "I'm not changing diapers," but he believed in his children and he worked an awful lot. Let's look at the family of 4s. The family of 4s are 4, 13, 22. There is no 40 birthday, but there is 31 birthday. Okay. So those are the 4 birthdays that we're going to be discussing at one time. As the family of 4s, we have the 40, the 58, the 67, the 76, the 85, the 94, and it goes on and on and on. The number 13, as I mentioned before, is one of the 4 karmic numbers. The karmic numbers are those numbers where you have to give back in some way. I mentioned that my birthday vibrates to a 76, which reduces to a 13 karmic number. These are usually, I owe the public and myself a duty and a duty to others. I'm very organized. I'm very loyal to my clients. I'm a workaholic. I put a foundation underneath my cases. And I deal with people that have problems often in the home and family because I'm a trust and estate litigator, a mental hygiene litigator. So I am giving back and I am meeting the karmic debt from a former life that I brought into this life. And it probably means that I didn't really accomplish much in a former life, or I could have accomplished a lot more, but I might have been lazy or just didn't feel like doing it and looked to other people to be the dependable ones and carry the load. And in this life, I carry the load graciously and with gratitude. I'll be discussing other numbers in other shows, but for now, the 4 is down to earth, hardworking, adaptable, great management skills, terrific management skills. They can manage anything because they're organized, business-minded, great builders, great promoters. They are detailed and statistical. They're honorable. On a passive level, you could be lazy. That's a 4 that has to learn to get up and go. A disorderly 4, you don't find many of them, but if you do, that's the negative aspect. Scattered. Procrastinators, a 4 usually has its nose to the grindstone. On the passive level, it can't make up its mind. A 4 is very reliable. On the passive level, it's unreliable, very, very rigid. It is what it says. 4s are very humanitarian. They might be stubborn, but they have human feeling. Someone that is lacking in feeling for another person would be living more on the negative side. Someone that is stubborn and sloppy would also be on the negative side. A negative side also would be someone that's domineering, dictatorial, not good, won't get anywhere, immovable, bellicose. And why bellicose? Because the 4 on a negative level wants it their way, or it's the highway, or they'll argue until you're tired of arguing with them and you just give in. But it's not a very good way to live. As I said before, that 4 can appear in your life path number, your birthday number, your achievement number. And we talked about Donald Trump's achievement number, my achievement number, Chuck Schumer's achievement number. Later, we're going to learn about pinnacles and how to attain them and where they show up. And I've mentioned that the number 4 shows up in the letters D, M, which is the 13th letter in the alphabet, and V, which is the most spiritual letter of the alphabet. And that's also the 22nd letter in the alphabet. So that's basically it for now. On the number 4, I want to thank you very, very much for coming. If you'd like to subscribe to this channel, just hit the subscribe button and send me some kind of message. Let me know whether you like the show. Let me know how you think I might improve upon the show. If there's something special you'd like me to speak about, such as lucky numbers or how to find your lucky number, or anything that bothers you, or why you keep seeing the number 11 or the 22, or you keep finding pennies on the ground, just shoot me a message. I'm here for you, to serve you. I have 4 books out there, as I mentioned, volume 1 and volume 2 of Live Your Life by the Numbers, Your Guide to Numerology. Another book is Raise Your Kids by the Numbers, which is one of my favorite books. It's all about the early vibration that children carry. It's a book for parents and adults. It's also a book for yourself, to forgive yourself or to look at your own numbers when you were young to see how close I am to the way you behaved when you were a child. And my last book is Double Digits, Your Guide to Numerology and the Power of the Double-Digit Numbers. Now, you'll notice I'm talking about the master numbers, the 11, the 22, the 33, the 44. Those carry 2 numbers in them, but they all reduce to the number 4. So first I'm teaching you the basic numbers, and then we're going to go into double-digit numbers, and you're going to see why you might be an 8 life path number and I'm an 8 life path number, but our birthdays are different and our names vibrate to different numbers. So we both have that same underneath. Our cores are the same. Our highways to success are the same. But I end up a litigator. You may end up an accountant. You may end up a bridge builder or a master builder. Same vibration, different result. So I hope that you enjoyed this show. Please remember, there is no day more precious than today. So please go out there, enjoy your life, and live your life by the numbers. Bye for now, and I'll see you soon.